your happiness be based on changing and fleeting things. But it is the world of the changing and fleeting that man builds his rationality off of. Well, it's rational. I pay my rent this month. It's rational. I can go to this party and do this and have fun. He has built his foundation of his inner self, of his interpersonal relationship off the material world, which is constantly changing. So if the material world is constantly changing, how is his state of being going to be if his foundation is based upon a changing material world? His rationality is based upon change. So is his inner state going to be. Now, I'm not asking us to be permanently irrational, but I'm showing that irrationality is the doorway and the gateway to happiness. A long, enduring happiness. Give you an example. Somebody said something deep. Said that no one can really be unhappy all the time. Even if you are locked in, a prison in Rikers Island. Even if you are locked in the most grimiest prison. No person could be unhappy all of the time. At some moment, you would have to experience some degree of heroicness. You would naturally feel some degree of martyrdom, especially if you were falsely, imprisoned. At some moment, you would have to have some sense of happiness. You could not be unhappy all the time. There will be a moment of happiness that will fall upon you. So this happiness, since it's going to fall upon you, even if you want to be mad, if you're going to still be alive, at some point you will be happy about something. If it's the smallest little thing. You see the point I'm making? There will be a moment where happiness will overtake you. Now, if that happiness is overtaking you when you choose to be sad, that means that happiness is not rational. Because it's not based upon anything or any reason why you should be happy, right? So happiness is irrational in and of itself. So when you realize that how irrational happiness is, and when you become more irrational, you will become more happier. Irrational in your thinking. You can be rational in your actions. I'm not asking you to be irrational in your behavior. I'm asking you to just be irrational in your thinking. You can carry out any disciplined course of actions. You can dot every T and cross every I. But you will have to be irrationally within your mind in order to achieve true happiness. Because not being happy for a reason, you can be happy all the time. Once you're happy for a reason, you can be happy as long as that reason exists. But when something threatens that reason, or that reason feels threatened even for a moment, you will fall back into unhappiness. Unless your unhappiness is not based on reason. This is deep. We have to look into that. So if we are seeking to be constantly happy, we must destroy the rational frameworks that justify our sufferings mentally. We must justify. We must break them down. We must break them down. We must destroy those frameworks that say I'm happy because of that, or I shouldn't be happy because of this. Or I cannot be happy now. I can only be happy later. I can only be happy when this happens. All that framework has to be destroyed. The quicker you destroy that, the happier you will find yourself. And through being happy, you will attract happier people, happier circumstances, and you will be more of a positive contribution to the people around you and more of a positive contribution to society. That is the solution. So the solution to happiness, which will create world peace, comes from irrationality. You got to just be happy. Ain't that deep? Somebody's dying on their deathbed. You're there witnessing them. You have no reason to be happy. But your minute bit of happiness can alleviate their suffering. Because their own suffering could be irrational in the sight of your happiness. Do you feel the point I'm making? So now you have alleviating the suffering of others through your happiness. But there must be some reason to be happy. Right? If there's some reason to, then we're locked into the imprisonment of people who justify suffering. We're in the same prison. Because they have reasons. They have dictionaries of reasons. They have encyclopedias of reasons why they should not be happy. And if you're rational, they're right. They're absolutely right. They're right. You have no money. You don't have the food that you want to eat. You don't have the relationship that you want to be in. You're right. You shouldn't be happy based upon rationality. But if you can be irrational for a moment, you can go ahead and be completely happy. And by being happy, you can start to attract the things that you desire into your life. Because you will start to react in a way that will justify your happiness. So you don't have to back up your happiness with your thoughts. Be happy and the universe will back you up. Well, why are you happy? You ever ask somebody ask you that? Why are you happy? Why are you smiling? Have there ever been a moment where you just feel happy for no reason? Somebody be like, well, what are you laughing about? I don't see anything funny.
Well, happy.
What are you so happy about? And you tell them, well, why don't you come up with a reason why I'm happy? Try that. Tell them to come up with a reason. And you'll find something unique. Now I want to expose something else with the fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness inside of that I found out. They say if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. But if you can't stand to be lonely, you're codependent and clingy. You cannot win for losing. You talk to yourself, you lost your mind. But some people don't realize in order to seek true happiness, you're going to have to start talking to yourself. Really. You can become truly happy. There's nobody that will agree with you like you will. There's no one who can be more supportive of you than you. We're always looking for support and acceptance from other people. And other people that we're looking for acceptance from are looking for acceptance from us. So there's a mirrors with nobody standing in them. Because no one has the courage to fully be. No one has the courage. So it's just smoking mirrors with nobody standing there. We have to stand up and be the people that are standing there. We must start talking to ourselves. And becoming happy within ourselves. Because if happiness is based on you, then it will have to come from a relationship with yourself. How do you cultivate a relationship with yourself to be happy? Some people mad. Some people around you are going to be mad. They're going to be upset. So if they're changing, you have to cultivate a happy relationship within your interpersonal dynamic. That's something new to do. You have to. If you don't do that, then you can't be happy. Cultivate an interpersonal dynamic where you can constantly be happy with yourself. Don't that sound crazy? Cultivate that. They teach you that sounds crazy and that's crazy. But they will be jealous of how happy you'll be when you try that. You feel what I mean? They'll be sane and they're suffering and you'll be crazy and happy. Make your choice. So I realized that last week we have to develop interpersonal relationships to be happy. Now if we're seeking the happiness of others, we don't realize that our happiness and other people's happiness are different. This is a jewel. Our happiness and other people's happiness are different. So as long as we are seeking acceptances from others, we're choosing to be unhappy. Because our happiness are different. Some person might like scary movies. This person might like funny movies. This person drinks tea. This person drinks coffee. This person smokes marijuana. This person smokes cigarettes. Our methods of happiness are different. They're different. If you put all human beings together, you'll find different methods of happiness. But we try to inflict our forms of happiness on others because we cannot justify being happy in and of ourselves. Y'all know the point I'm making? We cannot justify being happy in ourselves, so we have to inflict our happiness on others. We might get some happiness from our religions. And because we're happy as a religion, in our religion, we must justify it. So we must go and proselytize and bring other people to our religion to justify us being happy with that religion.
That's powerful.
Versus saying, they say, well, would you be a Christian? Would you want to be a Christian or a Buddhist? And I say, well, are you happy with that religion? That's all that matters. They never ask, are you really happy with who and how you are? That's not relevant. They need to justify their happiness. And sometimes we project unhappiness on others. Well, there is no unhappiness to justify our happiness. Now that's deep. We go among people. We don't say, are you happy with your religion? Are you happy with your way of life? We say, man, I got the Holy Ghost the other day. I found Jesus. You missing out. That's because we're not content inside of our own happiness. So when we are rejected from those people, we become unhappy. because we associate our happiness with the acceptance of others. Then we have wars. We have arguments. We have religious debates. We have people trying to dominate and control and possess other human beings to justify their own happiness. That's deep. I'll give you an example of what hit me with this, and I'm going to go a little deep. Someone's seeking a relationship with somebody, not realizing there's so many dimensions of a relationship that's beyond physical. We just caught on the four dimensions or 3 dimensions, that in order to have a relationship with somebody, it has to be physical. That you cannot be married to somebody of which there's no physical relationship. That don't make sense. Long distance relationships, I haven't seen them in the last 10 years, but we're married. That makes no sense, because we justify relationships with physical reality, which leads to the possessiveness and the domestic violence. Do you see the point I'm making? Because it's a possessive physical relationship. We can't really relate to people on a 5th dimensional level. If it's not physical, it's like nothing exists. That's where the possessiveness comes from. That's where the desire to seek and control another human being's life. Because if there's no physical control, there's no relationship to that. That means we think that 3rd dimensional, 4th dimensional relationship is all that exists. That's an issue. Can you have a relationship with somebody on the spiritual level where you just simply love somebody because? Where you love the thought of that person? Because that thought of that person allows you to experience the most loving aspect of your own being? Is it possible that that could be enough? But we won't be grateful for that. That's not enough. We have to have the physical relationship with this person. We have to have a certain amount of control. We can't just thank the ancestors that this person exists as somebody I can have a positive thought about or think positively of. That's not enough. That's not enough. We got to control, and we got to have contracts. You see the point I'm making? And we got to create a marriage. Therefore, we create a divorce. We can't just embrace positive thoughts and positive energy and positive feelings and just be happy with that. We need more. There's never a sense of being enough because we're not happy with the 5th dimensional reality. We've been told not to be happy there. You never see this person? You know, you just give an example, like you could have a favorite musician or a superstar, somebody you really like. And then you just like them. You're happy about them. You never met them. You like what they represent. You're fine with that. You never have to see them or even never have to go to a concert. And that positive energy or the image of what that person represents is enough. But then you have people where that's not enough. Have you went and saw them? Do you have all their rings and clothes and diamonds? Do you think that they'll let you be their agent? You know what I mean? It's not enough just to love people anymore for just being people. It's not enough to love the spiritual domain of experiencing another human being. The mental domain, that's not enough. Because they say if you're too mental, you're crazy. Somebody that you like. And I was trying to tell his brother this, that he would work some things out within himself. He was talking about a sister, that he broke up with. And I told him that, well, you know what? You should channel the consciousness of that sister in your mind and just talk to her. And work out a positive relationship within your mind with that sister. Work it out within your own consciousness. Let your mind play out you and play out her. And then be done. Everybody's happy. That's not enough. They have to be right when it comes to another human being. It's a right or wrong thing. I'm right, I have the right way, you have the wrong way. We lack appreciation for the fact of just pure human being. We've gotten away from that. It's about somebody being right and somebody being wrong. Now you see what type of war and what type of animosity and how that could lead to violence? Because there's no pure appreciation anymore. We have more appreciation for ideologies and perspectives and positions and opinions than we have for humanity. That's heavy. We can't just love people anymore. We need a reason to. You ever like somebody and then try to find out why? It must be because you got the same religion I do. Or you got the same colors I do. But then if you were with somebody in your relationship with them for 10 years and they completely change from when you met them, 10 years later they're a totally different person, but you're still with them. So how do you substantiate? Why was you with them if they're not the same anymore?